Hello! Merry Christmas! It's the last podcast of 2019. I'm here with regular Dale Storey.
Hi.
And it's time to have a little bit of a look back on today's game. A 0-0 draw with Nantwich, which, on the basis of a 0-0 draw, doesn't sound that exciting.
No, exactly. That's exactly what the gaffer said, didn't he? Yeah. And the first half probably wasn't that exciting. It reminded me a lot of last week's game at Hyde, which was definitely not exciting. A couple of chances for Nantwich, and I think just the free kick from George Green that I could remember that was tipped over. But the second half, I thought was excellent. I thought it was a really good game, really exciting. It was end to end. Both teams tried to win the game, but both cancelled each other out quite well. Trinity was a much improved performance from last week, which is what the gaffer wanted. And I think they're very unlucky not to win. Like I said, Billy Chadwick, 91st minute, hits the post. If it hits the post and goes in, you win the game. Hits the post, goes out, you draw.
Exactly.
And he'd done so well.
Fine margins again.
Exactly. And that's what it is. And as the season goes on, those fine margins will hopefully change.
Exactly.
Hopefully.
Exactly. But since Curtis has come in, 7-8 weeks now in charge, and we've gone from having the gung-ho, free-flowing attacking football that we've seen, particularly away from home in the Cups, to now starting to get that solidity in defence. I know we've had the Nathan Stainfield missing, unavailable for a large chunk of that time that Curtis has been in charge. But today we've really settled down, conceded one away last week, clean sheet this week. Hopefully now there's the sort of cornerstone there that we can have a solid back and build on it going forwards.
I agree.
Thank you.
Right.
So,
no. I couldn't resist. It's a very long speech that from you. Well, that's good. That's good. I like it. So that's his 8th game in charge today, and it's the first home league point. It's also the first. There's so many. I find positives from today. First home clean sheet since
October.
Whenever Buxton was.
Another game to remember.
Which is what was it? When he came in, they were scoring, as you say, free-flowing, but conceding lots. What I think is impressive is, in those 8 games, the 2 league games, they've not lost. Yeah. Away from home, sorry. They've not lost. It's the first home point under him today, like I said. But if you can find that consistent partnership at the back, you will get chances. Yeah. And I think Nathan Stainfield, as you mentioned, he made such a massive difference today. Alongside Will Thornton, who seems to be one of the first names on the team sheet under Curtis, which is fine. He's getting better every game. He's clearly a no-nonsense defender and more of a leader than Staino, which Staino told us himself.
Well, I think that's Staino playing it down a little bit, because we know Staino from the last 2-3 years, and he's been one of our massive leaders. But when he's missing,
Well, they've missed him, definitely. I thought he was man of the match today. This is something we were also discussing before we went on here. And he's very popular with the fans, which is another plus. And I think if you can get those two to play a few games together, I think there's a decent partnership there. I think Kingsley's probably his first choice right back.
But James
at the moment, but Williamson, I thought got better as the game went on. I thought the second half, he played really well. He stood out for me, and Jamie Green seems to be the first choice left backs. If you can have a consistent run of games with the same back four and goalkeeper, then you are going to concede less goals. And I think it's brilliant they kept a clean sheet today, because particularly the first probably quarter of an hour, it looked like Nantwich were going to get something.
They did settle to the game quickly.
They did, but I think one chance in that spell, which was well saved by Ellenson. At this level, and Gainsborough second bottom of the league for a reason, you're going to get chances. You're going to get chances again. It's just you need your keeper to save some. No, it's all looking good at the moment, definitely. And as you say, going forward, I'm sure we'll come back to Billy Chadwick in a bit, but when he gets the ball, gets his head down and goes forward, I think he looks fantastic.
He's got quick feet and he's got that little bit of championship quality, hasn't he?
Yes, he did it at Darlington when we were there a few weeks ago, and he was unlucky. And then today, he's had Trinity's best 2 chances, which he's created himself. Yeah. One that was really well saved, so that was bottom corner job, wasn't it? And the post. So it's all good. I'm feeling so much more optimistic than I was last Saturday when we started the podcast. And warmer.
Yeah, well,
which helps. But
but looking at the options with James Williamson, solid, dependable at right back, possibly Kingsley now back in midfield, which is possibly where we're lacking a little bit. Possibly if Kingsley sits in the hole, breaks things up and starts things from deep, that possibly does free Chadwick to play a little bit further forward. I'm not a manager, though.
Well, nor am I. I've managed 6 aside, that's about it, and I got that wrong. But the goal they scored last week at Hyde was from Kingsley being in midfield, wasn't it? It was a really good pass. So
really good through ball, wasn't it? But
it was really
extra quality.
Which you're right, they probably do lack in midfield at the moment. You've got Russell's just going to run around all game, and he's been very consistent this season, I think. And but it's clear that Curtis wants to play 4-3-3. I know he went for the 5 at the back last week, but when they changed to 4-3-3, they look better, I thought. And I think 4-3-3 seems to be his formation, which is fine. I think as long as you've got 2 wingers to support Declan Bacon, it's that midfield 3 that I think. It's debatable who his best 3 are. Maybe Kingsley being in there is an option. I like it when Chadwick goes forward.
Yeah, Clarkie's done well when he's come in off the bench.
Yeah,
I thought the game passed him by a little bit today at times. Some nice touches at times, but
I've always found with Clarkie that he's more of a holder, and I think he's probably been playing. Looking at today, that's where Chadwick was playing. So Clark, I've got the impression Chadwick was behind the other 2.
Yeah, and Clark deep lying, which is possibly where Kingsley would play.
Whereas I find Clarkie's better. He's been effective coming off the bench.
Yeah. Because he was involved,
and he does break up play.
Yeah.
But he struggled today. But it doesn't mean he won't get.
He was almost playing in at 10, almost off Declan Bacon,
which isn't him.
No,
that's not his position.
Just to sort of be a bit of a presence to try and make the ball stick. Because we're 3 very good centre backs for Nantwich, but didn't get troubled as much as you would have liked.
Yeah, I agree. I thought which one was it? Because there's Mitchell Dunn was up against a player, and then they swapped him and Morrison. I thought he marked Morrison pretty well. Morrison only got past him probably once, twice, maybe. Mitchell Dunn grew into the game, and then usually with these wingers, you give them an hour, don't you? And then you say run around like a headless chicken, and then you come off. And so it wasn't a surprise that he swapped him for Curtis, but it's nice. I felt that it was quite nice looking at the bench today. I felt that it was
lots of experience in it.
It was a pretty strong bench. Obviously, there's a goalkeeper that
we don't normally have. Don't normally have that luxury.
Exactly. And I imagine there'll be more players coming in. And I never think you need a keeper on a bench, but it's best to have a keeper on. And I always think it looks bad if you don't name 5 subs. 5 subs. I always think that looks bad. So name it. But what was it? Liam King, Ross Hannah, Curtis Morris, and Joe Maguire. There's a lot of experience there.
Lots of experience, exactly.
But you've also got players on the bench that can change the game. Ross Hannah on his day can be a game changer. Curtis Morris
just got 10 minutes, didn't he? Really.
Yeah, and it was nice to see. We spoke about Liam King quite a lot this season for one reason or another. And it's nice to see he got a bit longer today, about
another 15,
20 minutes. Yeah. Running around, looking useful. So
he looked taller today.
Did he?
It's almost like.
Is that your new gantry position?
Yeah, maybe a little bit closer to the pitch.
You're very close to the manager.
Yeah.
Is that why he kept walking out? Do you think get away from you?
Possibly. Yeah. He was probably bored of listening, to be fair.
Wow.
But yeah.
No comment.
So, stoppage time, a little bit of a controversial moment.
Well, the sending off's an interesting one, isn't it? Because in live play, and I'm sure people will watch your highlights and hear your commentary, which we've just been watching.
Dissecting.
It looked a lot nastier than it probably was.
Yeah.
I think it probably was a red card, but I don't know whether that's just because I've got my Trinity hat on or not on.
No, it's not, because we're inside.
I wanted to put it on.
Yeah, we're both going to wear.
Yeah. This one's better. I like the bubble.
I prefer it face bubble.
This actually fits my big head. That's the reason I like that one.
Put it on for a minute.
Not many hats. Cover. I always think you got to cover your ears.
Pardon? I've covered my ears. What did you say? Yeah.
Right, that'll do. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Come on.
My hair looks a mess with or without a hat. So anyway, what were we talking about?
So, red card.
In live play.
I thought.
I agree.
Definite stamp.
I agree.
I thought there was an action there, but it was deliberate.
Yeah.
And was intent on doing harm. And I said as much in commentary. Having seen it back. Yeah. It's one of those that if it goes against you, you're probably spitting feathers.
You can see why they were so angry, can't you? Because
if
Nantwich were fuming. Yeah. But I suppose that's the luxury of replays, and you can slow that down if you want to, etc. In live play, it didn't look very nice.
No.
The referee made a decision.
If it went to VAR, would they slow it down, and would that be a big enough wrong decision to be turned over?
That's a very good question. Probably not. But I hate VAR. We could spend a whole podcast moaning about VAR if you want to one day.
This is non-league football, so people are probably fast forwarding this bit thinking, oh, they're talking VAR.
Yeah.
So
hey, come back, we're back now. We finished on the. Do you want the hats back on? But,
yeah, it was temporary brain loss. Sorry.
Yeah, I've left it in the hat. No. So yeah, I can see both sides of the coin really. I can see why he gave it, but I can also see why Nantwich. Like you say, I think if say it been the other way around and Gainsborough had played something like that, we'd have been quite angry. So. But
we've seen a lot of decisions turned over, red cards that have been turned over after the fact. I think Brad Roscoe was sent off for Buxton last season for a shove on Alex Byrne, but was turned over because it was deemed to be soft.
Yeah, I agreed with that one. I remember it very well. Alex Byrne's reaction got the sending off, basically.
I think most of Paul Durkin, Paolo Di Canio, wasn't it?
Yes. Now, Paul Durkin's reaction, yeah. But... Trinity hats, you can't blame him if you get an advantage. I'm not criticising Alex Byrne about that because it was,
it was what it was.
Gave Trinity an advantage. So well done. I'm sure many. Well, you do. You see it on the telly all the time.
Yeah.
You see it all the time. Roscoe, where is he now? Was he at Hyde? Probably last week. Yeah.
Right. Well, we'll have a short break. Talking about loans, I caught up with Matt Boles, who gave us a bit of an indication on what's going on with loans, how many we're allowed, because it seems like we've had a bit of a revolving door. I think it's upwards of 50 players now that we've had signed on. Certain circumstances that have almost led to that, really. The change of management with Curtis and Martin Foster coming in, replacing Liam and Ross. Earlier on in the season, it normally happens. But trying to keep track of it all, it's a difficult job. And here's Matt Boles with a bit of an explanation why. We caught up with Trinity Secretary Matt Boles to try and find out a little bit more about the loan market and how many you can have and what they actually mean.
So there's 4 basic types of loan that we can have as a club, which we're utilising quite a lot this season. In any matchday squad, you can have a maximum of 5 loans within your matchday 16. They can be made up of work experience, youth loans, short-term loans or long-term loans. So work experience are basically they're the kids we get from professional clubs, from their academies up to the age of 18. Youth loans are pretty much the same. Both of those are unlimited, so we can sign as many of those as we want through the season. Short-term loans start for a minimum of 28 days and then can go up to a maximum of 90. Again, they are unlimited during the course of the season, and these are traditionally what you get from clubs at our level, clubs at the level above. So most of our guys come on 28 days, can't be recalled in those initial 28 days, but then when you extend them after that, players can be recalled at 24 hours notice, which obviously happened to us earlier this season with George Willis. Signed on a 3-month, so your full 90-day loan, but was recalled after the initial 28 days because Boston obviously needed him for cover, so that's a risky take with those. And then you've got your long-term loans, which can only be done in August and January, and then they can either run August to January or for January till the end of the season or for a full season. And again, one stipulation in this league is that we can't loan players from Premier League clubs unless it's a long-term loan. So we either have to do those in August or in January, which again, for us in our location, has proved a bit of a problem in the past because obviously we have good relationships with Hull. So when they were in the Premier League, that sort of took us out of being able to bring their players in. Currently, given Curtis's connections, there's a few players at Sheffield United that we're interested in, but obviously we wouldn't be able to sign them until January. So they're potential targets as we move forward. So that's basically a brief overview of loans. A lot of areas where you can come unstuck. Always check your paperwork, double check your paperwork, check your emails, make sure you've got your confirmation emails. So Friday nights for most secretaries are spent making sure you've got the right clearance, because nobody wants to fall foul, get points deductions, get kicked out of the FA Cup. So it's a minefield you just need to be wary of.
A minefield indeed, and one I'm glad
It's not me monitoring.
Definitely.
Cheers for your time, Matt.
And that was Matt Boles, very quickly running us through the loan market. And like I said, a minefield. I'm glad I'm not having to monitor.
It's really interesting that. It's really interesting. You always hear of these loan terms, but you're not 100% sure what they mean, what the difference between a youth loan and a short-term loan is. And no, I agree with you. I'm glad I don't have to do Matt's job, I'm sure, particularly this season. He's had his work cut out. And I also didn't know about you can only have 5 in a match day squad. I didn't know that either, which will probably explain why sometimes you're looking at a squad and thinking, well, where's so-and-so, where's so-and-so? And obviously, in fact, I didn't know about the Premier League clubs either, so it shows what I know about
exactly.
Very interested to hear also that January, obviously Sheffield United might be getting some interesting players. Obviously, be some of the kids or whatever that are not quite ready to progress at Sheffield United, and they come away for this.
But of course, we had Marcus Dewhurst, didn't we, last season? A very good goalkeeper.
We did. We had Will Longbottom from Doncaster.
Yeah.
I know they're not Prem, but again, it's the same kind of thing. Brandon Horton, particularly his first spell.
Yeah.
They benefit coming to us as much as we benefit having them.
Exactly.
And that's why it's good, and that's why the youth system, the loan system is so good. And it's really interesting. I think Matt does a great job because it's very complicated.
Yeah. It's one of those thankless, unforgiving tasks almost.
It's also because obviously at this level, loaning is the only way you can afford to bring in new players, isn't it? So
exactly, football's an expensive business, and trying to balance the books. And if we can give these players opportunities, then normally it's favoured upon by the clubs that are doing the loaning.
And I was gutted about George Willis going back, by the way.
Yeah, but like Matt said, we had him for 28 days.
Yep.
Extend it for the second month, and pretty much as soon as we did extend it for the second month, it was knocked on the head. But
that's the risk you take with loans, isn't it? It's as simple as that. It's the risk you take, and
all we can do is hope that these players have decent enough spells with us that hopefully when opportunities come.
It's a tough one though, isn't it? If they come here and have an amazing spell, then their club, we'll have them back. There's been one of these things at Boston. Like we're talking about Boston, they had a right back on loan from Huddersfield.
Yeah.
Danny Cowley called him back, and he played him against Leeds the following Saturday. So he'd gone to a non-league club, got that experience, and now he's playing in the Championship. So it works both ways. Boston got good out of him, and now he personally
has got.
Yeah. So it works for everyone. So I like the loan system. I think it really affects, especially non-league.
Yeah. You can sometimes say that teams lose their identity a bit with players coming and going as much, but
a lot of times, if it's a really, really successful loan period and the player comes and falls in love with the club and this, that, and the other, they'll sign for you in the following summer or January anyway, won't they? So,
look at players like Henrik Ravas would love to come back to Gainsborough, but at the same time, he's doing really well at Derby, only third choice, but still.
Well, Henrik's another example of a player not quite there, comes to a lower league club, was probably the player of the season.
Yeah.
Excuse me, and now, like you say, he's having a good time at Derby.
Yeah, working with Shay Given, I think it is, at Derby, so can't learn from many better.
Shay Given was my favourite goalkeeper growing up. I thought he was brilliant. When he was at Newcastle, I thought he was really underrated.
Yeah, Northern Rock probably was the shirt sponsor back then. I think mine was possibly Shaka Hislop.
Keeper?
Cernicek, but that's me just showing a few more.
So it's Newcastle keepers that we like then, basically. Yeah. The rest rubbish. So not really. Sorry. Mm-hmm.
So last one of the season.
Yeah, last one of the year.
Well, the Christmas season. Am I being wrong?
Is Boxing Day not Christmas season then?
No, Christmas been and gone.
Oh well. No.
Okay, last one of the year.
Do you just want to delete that bit, or?
No, shall I just leave you on your own then?
So he tells me off when I move the chairs, but I'm moving now, and he won't like it.
No. Being OCD, so I'm coming back to put the on the chair.
Yeah.
So
anyway, sorry, what were we saying? Review of the year. So 2019, I wrote the programme. It's not really been the most memorable year, has it? Let's be honest.
No.
It's not one of them that will live long in the memory.
It's maybes.
Unless we end up having a really good, successful period, which we potentially could do under the current manager, then it'll be, 2019 was the year that we got Curtis Woodhouse to Gainsborough. We had the disappointment of missing out on the playoffs last season, which I always believe the table never lies. Was it a point in the end?
A point.
Obviously, you had the Ferriby situation, which took points off Gainsborough and gave Buxton that advantage, didn't it, in the end? But I said at the time I didn't think Gainsborough were quite good enough to the playoffs, and that proved to be the case. And then there's the traditional optimism coming into August.
Yeah.
It's annoying because I think you went at Nantwich to play well, then they beat Whitby Town, who ended up going on a great run, and suddenly it was like, yeah, this is going to be all right this season. It just didn't work out for Liam and Ross as management, and then we've had disappointment in the cups. Although the FA Trophy run was quite a nice distraction.
It was. That's given him time to bring his players in.
Yeah, and they were unlucky to go out of that one at Darlington, whereas in the FA Cup at Rushall.
At Rushall, it was a damp squid of a game and just one of those. Morale at an all-time low.
Which, I tell you what, it fascinates me, though, speaking of the Cups, is that to me, that the best I've seen Gainsborough play this season was away at Banbury in the FA Cup. Yeah. I thought they were outstanding.
And again, another day, referee decisions.
That's what it was, wasn't it? And this is why I think when they have been struggling, maybe not recently because of lots of changes in that, it's confused me because that team that day played really well against a side that were the equivalent to top of this division. Yeah. Should have won the game. And it was a good day. We quite enjoyed that day anyway. It was a good game, and then obviously ruined by a decision right at the end.
Yeah, a good Joe Maguire challenge. still going.
Just
crazy. Are you coming to join us on the last 2019
Come
podcast?
Say hello.
Come and say hello. Just come and say hello.
There he is. Hey,
how are you doing?
Hello.
One of the main men behind the scenes. That's Ashley.
Pissed.
All good.
Have a good one, guys.
Merry Christmas,
Merry Christmas. See you, mate. Cheers. Editing for you there, mate?
Yep. Always good.
You seemed disappointed it was only half.
Right? Yeah, exactly. Because he might came along and...
What were we talking about? Yeah, so the year as a whole, one to forget. Yeah. I always think you have to start the new year as a fresh.
I'll throw in FA Trophy. The 5-3 Tamworth game.
Yes.
As one of my memorable moments.
Yeah, memorable moments.
Turning up at Tamworth. Thinking back to last season when we unceremoniously got dumped out.
Oh.
Was it 3-0? 3-1?
3-0.
3-0.
We still did one of these.
Was it our first podcast in the car?
In the car. The only podcast we've done in a car.
Yeah. With an luminous yellow Gainsborough Trinity hat.
I think what...
That was just... Going back to what you said before. Not naming full 5 substitutes on the bench. That game...
3.
We named 3.
2 of them were kids, weren't they?
Joel Chapman, Alex Byrne, and who's the third one? Oh,
was it Elliot Wilson? Or did he play?
No, it might have been Elliot Wilson.
But
it was...
If you're going to name kids, name 5 kids.
Yeah, exactly.
I just think it looks bad.
But that was how I turned up feeling about the Tamworth game. I was just like, last year they're doing really well this season. They're top of the table, like Banbury were. They were sitting top of a Southern Prem, Central, Northern, whatever it is. The equivalent to us.
Same as this, yeah.
And you're thinking, oh no, because we weren't in good form.
Nope.
It wasn't feeling good.
No.
And it was like, I meant to turn on that performance, just the attacking intent, the style of play. Just for me, that is my highlight.
I felt that at FC United, which was the week before. It was just they just beat Dunstan 4-0 in the cup.
Oh, that was another good day for me. 4 a.m. start. I think I was back for about 3 o'clock the following morning.
The FC, it was just really, I think particularly because you and I have been through the majority of the downers this season. I think you see my run regarding Radio Lincolnshire seemed to be on that rotten run. And it was just really refreshing to see Gainsborough play like they did that day, especially in the first half. It was brilliant to watch, and then it was nice to see the digging, grind out the draw, which, like I said to you earlier, the away run, the draw in both games. Highlight of the year, I'm struggling with this one. I enjoyed my day at Ferriby. Oh, last minute winner at Baseford. That was nice.
Yeah.
That was nice.
It was.
I'm going for that. Alex Simmons. We didn't enjoy our day at Baseford.
No.
But that goal, that was nice. I'm going with that one.
A better trip the second time we went in the year. wasn't it? Really, it was a better.
I didn't go. It was Dave Remner went from my end.
Oh, from
and it was 4-3. 4-3
with a bit of a fight back.
Yep.
Which again started to show a little bit of character, but just not quite there. But yeah, it was a better trip that time. But definitely hanging out of the window.
behind the goal.
Yeah.
I was pitch side.
Hanging out of a window. Jeremy had the Wales rugby in his ear, listening along to that, and yeah, just.
It was a bizarre day.
What
else we enjoyed it? I enjoyed our trip to Ferriby. Although it's sad, I like going to Ferriby. It was sad that what happened to them.
Bittersweet.
And I somehow managed to upset their media, which I don't tend to do.
Yeah, because you'd sat in the wrong seat. Yeah, but
there's so many seats.
But you'd sat at the wrong end, hadn't you? It's just like if somebody had sat in your seat, you'd have.
I don't like when people sit in my seat. That's my seat. It's my seat.
But then Witton getting kicked out of Witton.
That one this year, was it?
Was it not this year?
Who got kicked out of Witton? Did you and Dave get kicked out this year? I got kicked out last year. With you.
I think we've been a bit too much. Oh, I don't know. But...
I don't know, but I suppose the more you think about it, there are memories.
Yeah.
But as a whole, it's a season to forget. I'm sure for many Trinity fans, winning at Grantham at Easter was quite a nice one as well.
If we can redo that again, Boxing Day.
Well, Grantham's form at the moment.
Just off the cliff face, isn't it?
They're there. They are there for the taking. It's like they keep saying, well, they're good at home, but the home form's just gone as well. And like I said earlier, Gainsborough's away form has picked up. They've only lost at Darlington since Curtis came in.
Positive signs, isn't it?
It is, and Darlington.
We're still in relegation zone, but there's so many positive shoots.
I think what it is away from home, obviously, the onus is always on the home team to win the game, so you can counter away. Gainsborough, I think, are set up very well for counter-attacking, particularly with the wingers.
But that's something that Luke was saying when he was on last week, the high media guy. He was saying, really, we didn't enjoy the game that we played against you because you let us have the ball. We like to attack teams. So if teams come out and try and beat Hyde, then they'll rip them to pieces because they'll counter quickly, counter efficiently. And I think that's what Baseford did today.
I imagine Baseford would have tried to,
And they've just been undone. And, it was 4 at half time, I think, in that one. I don't know how it ended up.
But it was
no, Baseford went down to 10. It was 4 at half time. So, yeah, we've got the ability to unlock teams if they go after us, but we also need to input our game a little bit more.
Yeah, and I think that's probably why they didn't win today.
Yeah, because although we were defensively tighter, we didn't have that ambition going forward as much.
Especially in the first half. Second half, I thought they did. Could have been more.
Declan Bacon was a little bit isolated there. There was times when he was the only person in the box, when really you're looking to get 2 or 3 in the box up in support.
Yeah, this is where the midfield needs to get the balance right. But
hey,
we
might be second bottom in the league, but the positive shoots of recovery are sprouting.
Definitely, and they can go and enjoy their Christmas,
but not too much. Like Nathan Stainfield said, a glass of wine and a turkey.
Yeah, I don't think he's having veg, obviously, by the sound of it. Just
turkey,
just a whole turkey and a glass of wine, and hopefully we'll be seeing you for another podcast soon because we don't know, do we?
We don't know, do we?
We don't know. Rob might be father for the second time anytime soon.
Yeah.
She's ready. Well,
she's ready.
She's ready. She's ready to.
But it was meant to be Buxton in February.
I'm there. I'm at Buxton.
Yeah. But now it's looking like it might be before Grantham. And that's scary.
Oh, baby over Christmas.
After Christmas, but not before Boxing Day, please.
How does that work then? After Christmas, but not before Boxing Day? Do you mean after Boxing Day?
This is for Christmas holidays.
Yeah, you mean after the holidays?
After Boxing Day.
Anyway,
before New Year's Day.
There you go. There's my wave of
Yeah, okay.
You don't want to be here New Year's Day?
I'd like to be here New Year's Day.
I'd like to be in it. We could do a New Year podcast
between.
Yeah, she can look after she. It's him, isn't it? Do you not know?
We don't actually.
You don't know.
We don't know 100%.
You don't know.
Nobody knows until it.
I thought you were calling it Dale. Whichever way it goes.
Really? You have to have a Dale with a Y, but no, that's.
I hate Dale with a Y. That is another rant.
Dale Southwell back at Boston. Oh, what's that?
Yeah. Right, so have a lovely Christmas.
Happy New Year.
Bye.